Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to this session wherein I'm going to interact with one of our CLAT achievers from this year, CLAT 2024, Ashutosh Kar from Bhubaneswar. And well, we knew that he would be definitely in the top ranks and is definitely in the top 10, and that is what the story is right now. We all know CLAT 2024 was a complete different paper this year, and I'm sure those who gave the paper, they felt the pain, but those who kept their nerves, when I'm saying so, and including Ashutosh over there, they definitely did well in the paper. So, first of all, Ashutosh, congratulations to you on this wonderful feat, actually. So, you deserve that. You have been working really hard. We have seen your mock scores. So, definitely, this is something which you deserve, actually. So, did you sleep last night after the results were announced?
Thank you so much, for your kind words. Yeah, I definitely got some sleep, but I slept late and I had to reply to so many congratulatory messages, and it was really nice. It was a nice day.
Definitely. So that is something which one has to do. Actually, you can't ignore them. You'll definitely have to reply to everyone. Now, of course, as I said, we were aware you had shared your score in the group as well. So we knew that you are definitely going to be there. When you gave the CLAT paper, when you went in the examination hall, and when you opened the paper, what was your thought? Because this was completely unexpected for many, actually.
Definitely. And since this was like one of my life deciding exams or so, I was definitely a little anxious. Not before the much before the exam, but while starting the paper, definitely. And I had to stabilize myself in the first few minutes as well. And at a first glance, I understood that the paper was much easier than what I had expected. So I knew that it was going to be very tough because I thought the would be very high. But then I just rubbished all of that thought away from my head, and I just focused on what to do in those 2 hours so that I would not regret anything and I would give my ultimate best and will look after the results later.
Yeah, so CLAT and reality, we know that there could be surprises, and especially reality always does, like it did yesterday, actually. So that happens, but it is all about maintaining that nerve, which you did well. I'll go back a little bit, and I would, for the benefit of the audience, definitely, I would want to know uh, when did you decide to go for a career in law, actually?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question in my case because I'm currently a student of the science stream in 11th and 12th. So actually, since my childhood, like almost since class 7 and 8, I had developed a really keen interest in reading newspapers, keeping up to date with what was happening everywhere, all these like civic and important issues going on. So even though I had joined a lot of coaching institutes for like IITs or my mother and parents were obviously hoping that I might opt for that. But around like class 9 or so, I discovered this entrance examination of CLAT, and that really piqued my interest because I always felt like I should definitely go into humanities like after class 12 maybe, because until then I was like, okay, same school, so let's just go with the flow and stay in the school, because I also got really well marks in class 10, so everyone was like, okay, fine, then you can just go with the science stream. But then I realized that definitely I should follow what my passions are. So I discovered this field. I looked at a few question papers of CLAT. So around class 9 or 10, I decided that I would definitely attempt this paper and give it my best.
Wonderful. In fact, I don't know you realize this, but you have mentioned like you followed your passion. I think that is something which is very, very important. So अपने passion को follow करना हर student के लिए definitely important है. But then when you left your IIT thing, actually, which you were expected to, actually, so what was your reaction around you, your parents and your friends in the school? So were they surprised, really?
I think a little bit of surprise was there because I was going like out of the ordinary and I was doing something like different, unexpected. So there was also some sort of fear or apprehension. But I have always been a good student since my childhood. So my parents also trusted me in that sense. So they knew that I would do good in whichever field I went into. So they had also a lot of confidence in me. And I think all of that really contributed to the fact that I could put in all my efforts, because I knew that I would have to show everyone that, okay, even if I did not go with what I was hoping, what I was expected to, I still would be able to do a lot, many great things. And so that definitely pushed me ahead. And as for the school and other students, they were also, my friends were all really encouraging, because almost everyone had gradually discovered that there are so many opportunities available to us, and we should not only restrict us into some sort of dichotomy. So they were all really enthusiastic for me, and everyone was, of course, really happy with the results.
Wonderful. In fact, many a time we don't realize, but we do know that the in our journey, when it comes to academics, especially the role of the parents is really big, actually. And I'm sure they would be the most happy lot for your achievement, actually. And I'm sure they are still responding to the congratulatory messages. So they would also not have been able to sleep well. Uh, the problem with nowadays, when you are preparing for an examination like CLAT, is it coincides with your class 12th curriculum, actually. Now, that's a double task, I would say, because you don't get time to revise, which usually people earlier would do after the class 12 board examination. So, how did you manage that pressure of class 12th for your board exams preparation, and along with that, going ahead with CLAT and AIVT?
So a lot of people would think that, since like we are choosing an entrance examination, our like school board marks have become relatively less relevant. But since I had always performed really well in school, so there was that kind of a sort of a pressure on me that to still continue my trajectory. So I definitely had to put in a lot of work, and all the like obviously PCM subjects, they are like tough. I found them tough while coming to 11th. But I also knew that if I had to crack CLAT and also do well in school exams, I would have to put in efforts from the very start. Like from class 11th onwards, I started envisioning what to do next, which books to pick up for CLAT, what to practice. And of course, during school exams, I gave my best in the school exams. And coming to class 12, so I appeared the term one exams. They went really well. And next, the school pre-boards are of course started just in end of November. So I wrote an application stating that I would please not be able to appear the pre-board examination so that I can focus on CLAT. I would of course appear the pre-boards in January of the Sahodaya complex. So I therefore balanced my priorities, and when I had to give time to CLAT, I definitely did that. But of course, I did not let go of the school opportunities completely, and I also kept up with the efforts. Going to school was another tricky thing. So my attendance was almost like 75 70%. So it wasn't that bad. But of course, towards the end, like in October or November or so, I almost reduced my attendance. And the school was also supportive of what I wanted to do. So they were relatively more accommodating, because I had also got good marks in the school examinations. So I promised them that I would pick up my school books after CLAT is over. I have the entire month of December to do that. So let's just focus on what is actually really going to matter for me for these next 5 years of my college. So it was a mixture of both the efforts. Balancing is definitely tricky, and it is important.
Are your teachers aware, school teachers aware about your feats?
Yeah, I just I uploaded my status after just looking at the results, and one of the teachers instantly called me after that and asked me how I did. So I picked up, and they were really happy, and they were just overjoyed that they instantly chose to call. And lots of teachers have congratulated me, and of course many more
I'm
will
sure.
be happy when I actually go to school.
Yes, I'm sure they would be very happy lot, actually, and I'm sure they would definitely not regret actually giving you that leave from the examination. Actually, I'm sure they did understand that. I think that's very, very important. Uh, can you talk about little bit about your daily prep routine, actually, because the pressure still is there. While you managed to do it with your school, you had 75% attendance, which is quite good, actually. But what your daily routine would look like, actually, and so कितने घंटे लगाते थे डेली पढ़ने के लिए and preparing for the examination, क्या frequency पे mocks लिखते थे? So if you can share that.
Yes, sir. So I had school on school days. The school went from like 7 a.m. to obviously 1:30 ish. So after reaching home, I would definitely go for lunch and then probably some rest. And then I instantly picked up one or two books of CLAT, obviously, like the materials to practice. And every day, of course, in the last October or November, I did it a lot more. So I picked up a book every day and solved one passage from each section, like from each book. So it was really instrumental in helping me sustain my efforts every day so that I'm in touch with all the sections a little bit. And I also appeared a lot of mocks, like the mocks frequency was really nice. And I went to the center for the offline mocks. So that was really bonus. And in my view, offline mocks are really, really important because they, of course, give you a great opportunity to familiarize yourself with with the feelings that you're going to face on your actual exam day. So I did not miss any offline mocks. I went every Sunday to the center, of course, some Wednesdays as well. So I kept up with that enthusiasm. Apart from that, I of course read the newspaper every day. I used to wake up at around 6 or 5:30 on school days. So I would always choose to read the newspaper first thing after waking up in the morning, and then I would choose to get ready for the school. And on the days where I had no school, I had a lot of more time to study the subjects more, and to, of course, also chose to read a lot of magazines and materials because I felt like I had to have a grasp of a lot of things, like a variety of genres, and I should not find any kind of writing difficult to comprehend. And by the end, I felt like my reading speed had increased a lot more, and I was, of course, not afraid of any kind of passage. And I went into the exam hall with that sense of confidence. Whatever comes my way, I will be able to at least give my best, and I will not regret anything because I have put in a lot of work. And as for the number of hours, of course, it fluctuated wildly because on some days I would be at my max productivity, and on some days I would just not be able to focus at all. And I think that's, of course, fine for everyone to have 1 or 2 days when they are down. And but when you have the opportunity, like my mother always used to say, that when you are not sick, give your best, because sometimes if you fall sick, you will regret that now I'm not able to study. So of course, I had to keep all of that in mind and chart my daily routine every day.
Really wonderful. In fact, I would just would like to add here so a couple of lessons learned actually. One is that consistency is very, very important. Starting early is very, very important, and not every day would be your day actually, but ensure that it should not be happening on a regular basis. So there would be day when you'll be really productive, and some of the days you definitely want to have an off. And at the same time, it is also important that you actually plan for it actually. So, but without plan, it doesn't work. You mentioned mocks. We always spoke about mocks actually in the group as well. The problem is, despite all this, majority of the students do not write mocks. So, according to you, how important the role of a mock is when it comes to examination like a CLAT or an AILT?
CLAT and ALET are basically exams where you have to be really thorough in what your strategy during your exam time is going to be. So, to devise that strategy, the one that you're comfortable with, writing mocks is really significant, and it really comes in handy that manner. I also enjoyed the process of writing mocks a lot because I actually love the subjects in the asked in the paper, and I took it as a challenge every Sunday to write these mocks and more frequently later on. So the mocks help you strategize your sections, like which sections your order is going to be, what subjects are your strong points, to identify your weaknesses and work on it. Like a lot of students have quantitative aptitude as their weakness, for example. I did not deal with that because I've always been good at math. So I also therefore focused on my weaknesses. So to find out what subjects maybe I am lacking in and someone else is scoring better. So I took it upon as a challenge, and of course you have to really analyze the mocks after you appear them to see which scores have gone down or which ones have stayed high, so that way you can think about which subjects to stress on more, because you may not get time to devote some hours for each subject every day. So you have to like think out and lay out a plan for yourself which you can follow and which will actually reflect in your mock scores. Other than that, of course, mock tests are important for your practice, but I never took it as something that can boost my morale too high or too low. I did not get too apprehensive when my mock scores went down. Like sometimes it went down to 95 percentile or so, when I would always score around 98 percentile. So that did not discourage me that much because I felt like, okay, this is one mock and I have a lot more mocks to go. But definitely, I would analyze what mistakes I did. Maybe I chose a different section order, or maybe I could not attempt a few questions. Maybe I was not familiar with the GK passages. And in that way, I found the mocks really helpful. in knowing a lot of new things. For example, in current affairs, you get to know some passage, or one or two are of course new to you, which you have not read earlier, and that added a lot to my preparation. And for the other sections, it improves your reading, it improves your capacity to absorb all the information, and it definitely helps in your preparation. So I would definitely suggest to appear mocks weekly and to increase the frequency if possible later.
Definitely. I think analysis is the key because you keep on improving every time you realize what mistakes you are committing actually. And that's why mock are considered to be one of your best friends when you are preparing for any of the entrances actually. Thank you so much, Ashutosh. So, what would be your advice to your juniors, the future CLAT aspirants, how they should go about for the next 1 year?
So, to all the students thinking of appearing CLAT and finding their dream college, I would definitely advise you that once you have chosen your passion, once you have decided upon a field to enter into, give it your best, because you do not want to have any regrets in life. If you have made a decision about your path, and I would also suggest that instead of going with anyone else's expectations, you should be really ambitious for yourself. I've always been an ambitious person from the very start. I have set high bars and targets for myself, and I have always strive to achieve them. It may not be always fulfilling. You may feel down sometimes that, okay, I'm not able to do anything good or something. That obviously the feelings of underconfidence are prevalent in almost everyone. But you must deal with it because you know that this is something that you have chosen, that you are passionate about, and that you would really like to happen to, in your life. So once you've chosen CLAT, give it your best. Pay attention to all the subjects. Do not miss out on any one of these sections thinking that, okay, I'm good in other sections and my marks will somehow make up for it. So if you have chosen it, definitely give it your all and focus on each and every section. Try to understand and comprehend the concepts, get your doubts solved, just so that you are able to keep your head high and say that I've tried my best. And of course, the results will hopefully be in your side.
Wonderful. Giving it all and being consistent. Thank you so much for summarizing that for everyone, actually. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's Ashutosh Kar, AIR 10 in CLAT 2024. And I'm really looking forward to his AILT result. He has done really well. And I'm sure he'll be there as well. And problem he'll be facing is which one? I'm sure you have already made a decision. I will not get into the details of it today, but yes, wonderful feat, Ashutosh. I must congratulate you once again, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, sir.